tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su rosa especial, todos quieren ese especial, tú tienes esa cosa especial.
Hey, Vittori here, your host for the day, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. Always happy to celebrate anyone who resists British imperial rule. And on that note, Monk is off today hunting leprechauns, so I am your host for the week. Welcome to PIDCAST Episode 5. We are a podcast by fans, for fans, and for people who know it's always yappy hour somewhere. PIDCAST is a part of the Bangarang soccer community, telling soccer stories a mile in the sky and on till morning. And boy, are we telling stories this year. Don't forget to check out our NWSL sister show, Sum It Up. We want to send Sum It Up extra love this week as the inaugural Summit FC season has officially launched and the home opener is 2 weekends away. Make sure you check out Sum It Up to be plugged into all things Summit FC going on in these exciting first weeks. We also, of course, have our interview series in Tarobang and our bi-weekly Rapids 2 show called R2P2 with Keith Richards. We have some cool new branding up around R2P2, and it's just a really fun conversation, so make sure you check it out. And today, we don't have Monk, but I am here with the guy who picks the marshmallows out of his Lucky Charm box.
Do you mean like I don't eat the marshmallows or I only eat the marshmallows?
No, you're the sibling who sneaks in there and eats them out. So by the end, you're pouring the box and there's no marshmallows left.
Yeah, that probably tracks. They are really good, though.
So good.
They're so good.
They make marshmallows that are very similar. You can buy Jiffy marshmallows that are like the marshmallows that come in the dehydrated hot chocolate packets.
Mm-hmm.
And you can buy just the straight marshmallows. Those are pretty close.
I did get that once. It comes in a little shaker. It's almost like you're salting your dish, but it's just marshmallows.
Yeah. You know, some kid who grew up on Lucky Charms went on to create that product, for sure.
That's like the small glimmer of hope that we've got left in the world, is that things like that exist.
We talked a little bit about Rosie last time, my godchild who went to the adult casino, Chuck E. Cheese, last week, but
Yes, that is the perfect analogy for it. The adult casino.
I did steal it from a friend, but oh my gosh, and they're so good at it. It's got all the distortions. Also a callback to last week when we fought about whether gambling is ethical with Monk. But Rosie loves marshmallows, and for a while she had the name wrong. She thought they were mushrooms, and so she would just throw a tantrum demanding mushrooms, and her parents didn't know what she meant. So they were like, you don't want mushrooms. We don't understand what you're saying. Why? And she would just be screaming for mushrooms. So, wait till
I
Rosie
look
finds
forward
out
to her
about the
future when
dehydrated.
she finds out about the DJ and the psychedelic.
It's just going to be a bitch. She's just a marshmallow kid through and through.
Done.
Well, excellent. Well, we have a lot to talk about today. Let's start with our Rapids and soccer news section, Pitter Chatter. Matt, what do we have going on in Pitter Chatter?
First things first was Colorado sports' no good, very bad day. On the day that Denver's newest sports team, Summit FC, debuted in sunny San Jose, California, Jared Polis must have walked under a ladder while filming TikTok videos in his iconic blue sneakers because the Nuggets lost a nail-biter to the Los Angeles Lakers, 127-125. The Avalanche lost to the Winnipeg Jets, 3-1. The Summit lost, and I want to put an asterisk on that loss, which you can hear us revisit on Summit Up because we have plenty to say about that. The Summit lost to Bay FC 2-1. I'm sure the Rockies lost something somewhere. And the Rapids, well, we're gonna get to that later in the episode. So Colorado sports got blanked last Saturday.
Yeah, and I watched the fourth and the extra time of that Lakers game. Woof. What a rough game.
I was going to try and come up with a way to frame it as just like Colorado versus the coasts. And would you accept Winnipeg as on the coast of the U.S.? Does that count?
It is near a border somewhere.
Yeah.
I am wondering if this is coming from a lack of reverence to the prairie dogs, and wondering how this could be rectified before we take on these Wizards this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe we need to make a sacrifice. I think we'll get back to our old tricks last season, going out to training on Thursday, maybe take some things out to the prairie dog holes and see if the light of the prairie gods shines upon us this weekend. If anyone's traveling, listening to the podcast right now, if you want to make an offering to Blucifer for us on your way in or out of DIA, we'll take anything.
This is like totally not your point with this, but I've always wondered how people stop to be near Lucifer. Like he's in the middle of the highway, but I see people like taking pictures of him and like stuff. Anyways,
No, you just get out of your car.
Just hazard light it.
I mean, come on. Everyone's paying attention to the big blue demon horse, so I feel like it's a highly visible point of the thoroughfare for you to see cars pulling over and getting out.
Well, I don't want to overpromise, but I do leave town Friday morning, so I'll see if I can stop by Bluesford and have a talk.
All praise to our demon overlord, he who is blue and Cipher. I don't know. Speaking of the summit, we have an important PIDCAST service announcement, Sarah. This is big. Can I get a drum roll? Red Card SC has officially gone co-ed. RCSC would like to offer our sincerest of welcomes to Highlands Ranch native and new captain, Janine Sonis. Janine will fill a highly coveted winger role for RCSC, joining the likes of fullback Jackson Travis, midfielder Wayne Frederick, red card merchant and forward Hafa Navahu, as well as honorary Coloradan for the sake of eligibility, fullback Nuhu Tolo. You might be saying to yourselves at home, that's not 11 players. To which I say, Red Card SC never plays with 11 players. Janine Sonis got the first captain's armband, the first assist, and the first red card in Denver Summit FC, which we salute you, our red card queen. You've got a coveted role on RCSC, and we're so glad to have you.
We really do need to do a line of Red Card SC merch.
Oh, yeah. Done.
It's super fun.
Absolutely. We could do like trading cards. Like they could be like the red cards, like the ref holds up, but each one is a different trading card
the
for
player on it.
Yeah.
And like a short descriptor of how they got into the club.
Yes.
Or like highlights of their moments.
But it has to be in the way we framed, like how Nuhu was only giving the ball to the kid because he asked for it for his birthday, not throwing it at a fan's head.
Yeah, like what I will say about Red Card SC is that they really are the anti-heroes of the game, and I love me a good anti-hero.
Everyone loves an anti-hero.
I'm here for it. Taylor Swift endorses Red Card SC.
Does she? You got an in with her? Oh.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, sorry. She wrote a song about him, is all I'm saying.
All right.
Well, on that note.
Go ahead.
You know who else Taylor Swift doesn't know about but secretly loves? Rapids 2.
I did know about that. Yeah. Speak Now is all about Rapids 2. I bet you didn't know that. Yeah. She was something of an academy kid herself.
Oh boy.
And you know who else has short-standing relationships with stars? Rapids 2. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, tell me about it.
Rapids 2 played in what Keith and I were calling a snow classicito, a little snow classico. It wasn't quite blizzard conditions, but it started off with just a few flurries in the air and green grounds. And by the end, it was besodden with snow. They had swapped out for, I guess this year's version isn't an orange snowball. It's a lime green snowball, but it was fun nonetheless. I was talking to Zach Campagnolo after the game. I've never seen an actual live switch of that. I've only seen a Snow Classico where they start off with the snowball, but this one was like the 34th minute. They actually took the ball around, and I saw the center ref take the ball and swap it out for the white Adidas MLS ball to Zach during the game. So that was a pretty cool experience. I think these types of outlier weather games, whatever the situation, are some of the most memorable sporting events that you'll ever go to. And I was so stoked to have been at that one.
And I think what makes it such a snow classicito, is that it was so wild and unpredicted, right? Like it was like snow out of the middle of nowhere that was mostly gone by the next morning.
Yeah, as of time of recording, it is 5:38, March 17th in Colorado. It's currently 70 degrees, and we're predicted to maybe break 90 this week. I took a screenshot of the week's weather report during the game when I was fieldside, covered in snow, just for the dichotomy of it. Like, Colorado, you wild state.
Honestly, it's fine. This planet had a good run. And at least we got to see the yellow Adidas ball.
Done. Well, moving on. Herring today, gone tomorrow. Reports have surfaced that teams such as West Ham, Everton, and RB Leipzig are circling the answer to what would happen if a kangaroo and Paolo Maldini made a baby. The report from Ekram Connor of Sportsboom cited that these teams all have an eye on our budding Australian center back star, Lucas Harrington, but that team officials state the club is willing to stand pat for 2 years and hoping to cash in to the tune of $15 to $20 million around the center back's 20th birthday. That would by far eclipse Moist Bombito as the club's largest sale. Listeners, you might remember Moist Bombito went for 7.7 up to 8.7 with incentives, which was the highest transfer in Rapids history. So this would be doubling that for yet another center back. It seems the Rapids know how to hit on young black center backs. They've hit Austin Trusty, Moist Bombito, now Lucas Harrington. We've got a goalkeeper pipeline, and now we just need to start building up the field.
I just can't imagine, like, what could we do with all that money? Because I know what we're not going to do, which is put it back into the team. So,
Hey, come on. How do you think we bought out Sam Vines? Yeah, that Maria's empanada stand is not going to pay for itself.
Man, well, it would be a bummer to see him go, but hopefully we still got 2 more years.
I mean, that's a crazy report. I mean, not like saying it's incorrect, but kind of the incredulity of, we knew some teams were chasing Lucas when we went after signing him, and we're trying to bring him in with a signature early before he could get swayed to these bigger clubs. And it seems we were just in the nick of time, because if he's played, what's this now, 4 games in the MLS, and they're already floating $15 to $20 million valuations, and Premier League clubs like keeping a shortlist eye on him. Like, I know a lot of people want to come after the front office, but this is one where you got to say they cooked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. Time will tell. I also think it's like really scary to, a lot happens in 2 years for a player. And so, yeah, we'll see.
Well, speaking of cooked, news today came out that the Confederation of African Football has stripped Senegal of its 2025 AFCON title and awarded it to Morocco on a technicality. We only tell you this so that on behalf of our young Lion de la Teranga, Bilo Gia, we can say, fuck you, Confederation of African Football. That was Senegal's title. This is bullshit. I am not happy about this. I was so excited when they won. Bilo was so excited when they won. Like, this is dumb. We shouldn't be determining soccer championships 2 months after the fact in courtrooms. Wild.
Do you have more on this? This isn't something I've been following, and I'm really curious. What is I trust the narrator here only to a certain degree, and I'm curious what a technicality is, Matt.
I thought this podcast bestowed between us a trust that was unbreakable and unquestionable. It's it's if one of us says something, we just go with it.
Yes.
We're the yes and type of friendship.
Ah, yes. And what was this technicality?
So the technicality was that Senegal actually had their team retreat to the locker room. I think it was in the 84th minute to protest a penalty that was awarded to Morocco. And so the claim that Morocco filed was that this was a forfeiture of the
Eh?
actual match. The team leaving the field should be designated a forfeiture, to which the appeals court decided that was correct and awarded a 3-0. Because for those of you at home that don't know, a soccer match that ends in a forfeit gets a default score of 3-0 to the forfeiting
Did they
team.
finish the game?
Yeah, Senegal
They
won.
just left for a minute and then came back?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. But yeah, I know we use some swear words. Bilo definitely wouldn't. He would probably say something like, God willing, Senegal would score more goals, and that's because he's an absolute wonderful person and better than us all, and we're all just lucky to, catch a bit of his star as he ascends. And speaking of his star ascending, Bilo Giep signed a first team contract on Saturday morning, I believe, a few hours before game time in NYC, and made his MLS debut. I think it was the 81st minute of that match. So congratulations. We spent so much time with Bilo last season with Rapids 2. The person, the story, the player, just phenomenal. You guys got to get in on Bilo Giop right now. You won't ever have a chance to, because he's going to be too good.
Heck yeah.
That's what I got.
Well, awesome. Thanks for the pitter chatter, Matt. Let's move on to our game recap from this past weekend. As folks are probably aware, Rapids traveled to Yankee Stadium, which I just have to pause. It's so stupid. When you're watching the layout, we'll get to that in a second, but so silly. It looks like it's a joke. Anyways, Rapids traveled to Yankee Stadium this weekend to take on Eastern Conference NYCFC. Going into the game, we knew this would be a tough one for the Rapids to win. We had started the season off with a tie against Galaxy, a team that the Rapids easily bested only 2 weeks ago. So it was unclear exactly how we would stack up, and we were traveling all the way to the East Coast. NYCFC took an early lead in the 22nd minute with a goal by Nicolas Fernandez. He's the Argentinian striker. He came to NYCFC during the summer window last year, and Rapids really struggled to shut him down. Fernandez put in a second goal right in the end of regulation time in the first half. By the end of the game, Fernandez would have 5 shots on goal total. NYCFC only had 8 overall. So really came with the desire to wreck our days. And before the teams retreated to the locker room that first half, Darren Yappy was able to answer back. He got his second of the season during stoppage time in that first half at 45 plus 4 minutes. But unfortunately in the second half, Rapids were unable to climb back. After 30 minutes of no score, NYCFC's Magno scored in the 86th minute with an assist from Maxi Morales. That got us to our final score of 3-1, NYCFC walking away with 3 points. What were your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna echo what you said. That field is so dumb. Do you know what's the name of the hockey game where they put it in weird places? They do like the outdoor classic.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, I bet you
I don't
never
know
could
what
have imagined a hockey rink here. Like, I think one was like on a carrier. I don't know. This feels like that version, like a Make-A-Wish soccer field. Like, oh, the Yankees have always wanted to see what goals look like.
Yeah,
And
like
they
it feels
did that.
like yeah, it feels like when like the Harlem Globetrotters like goes to a place that there's not a basketball court, so they like do a one night engagement, or like, oh my gosh, I went and watched like dirt bike racing at Pepsi Center before, when it used to be Pepsi Center, throwback. Like, it just feels like that. Like, they're just really retrofitting for like a one-night engagement, but that one-night engagement is decades of MLS.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, actually, I'm not going to stop on that front. Another anecdote that I got from a team staffer is that they are incredibly strict about what parts of the inner bowels of Yankee Stadium can be shown. So like
Interesting.
this comes into play for things like team media, photographs, like you can't do any of that stuff in the innards of Yankee Stadium because they don't want it shown, which is wild to me. I don't know if maybe they were harassing the home team or the away team. I think this is probably longstanding, but
I just want to like, for anyone who feels like Rapids are neglected and not treated like a serious team and like the unwanted stepchild of Colorado, at least we're not playing at Coors Field.
what? Okay, so like if you fire up the fountains and release the rush at the same time, does like the caldera underneath Colorado explode and like the state just falls into a sinkhole of like aquatic fury and despair?
Well, the good news is, I was going to say for a second that we don't have water for that. We're in a drought. Colorado can't afford it. But the good news is neither the Rockies or the Rapids score very often, so I think we'll be fine.
This brings you to a point I forgot to put into pitter chatter, which is really important. And yes, we might be stalling on talking about the loss, but the Rapids now have 5 island boys. We talked last pod about the TNT boys, Trinidad and Tobago. We've got Wayne Frederick. We have Jaden Chantak, and we have Dante Seeley. We now have Donovan Phillip from St. Lucia, and Donovan reminded Keith and I that Jabari Decato is from Grenada. So we have 5 island boys. And to your point of us not having water anymore, I think this means maybe we do a soft reboot of Rapid Man, and he's now just anthropomorphic blue Curaçao. Like,
Did you see? Sorry, let's go from rabbit hole to rabbit hole. The Rapids did interviews of fans about whether if Rapid Man drank water, it was cannibalism. And I just feel like you've solved that problem.
yeah. Yeah, Rapid Man is blue Curaçao, and this fan base is like chugging hurricanes.
And honestly, like, everyone, if you're watching, you can see Rapid Man behind him. He kind of looks like he belongs on an island.
Yeah, look at that tall drink of bad decisions.
He does look like he's like the Kool-Aid Man, but with more hangover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Done. Okay, so we saw a lot of soft cards awarded. This was kind of a fun game. We talked about in the pre-match that this was the first time that this center ref was reffing an MLS game. So that started off with a bit of hijinks in the game being delayed 5 to 6 minutes because the center ref's comms were not working. So they couldn't start the kickoff to the game. In the 8th minute, we started off with a yellow to Hamzat. NYCFC saw 2 more, and then Darren Yappy got one in the 42nd. So it looked like this was going to shape up to be what we had talked about, where both NYCFC and the Rapids had finished games against 10-man teams. However, no cards were awarded in the second half, and as I astutely predicted, we did not see a red card awarded in the game with the first-time center ref amidst 2 Chaos Merchants in NYCFC and the Rapids. That first goal you talked about, Sarah, from Nico Fernandez, that was a huge bummer because Nico makes an amazing save, point blank, parries it away, and just there was not a defender in the vicinity close enough to help him on that second ball, and he didn't have the ability to get the second touch-in shot, which ultimately put NYC on the board first. But this was a save characteristic of most saves we see some from Nico. He goes out after the player that's about to shoot and tries to get there before the shot as opposed to waiting to be the recipient. And I love that aggression, that proactivity from him. The second goal from Nico Fernandez, this was dumb. Like the field. The wall didn't do its job. The positioning was off. Matt Wells talked in the post game about how the formation on the wall for this. So this basically turned out to be a short corner. A foul just outside the box was given, and Nico Fernandez Marcal was the one who ended up taking it. So they lined up, I believe at that point it was Hamzat Ojederin and maybe Jackson Travis as a two-man wall in front of the short corner. And the rest of the defense lined up in a position that would have put the NYCFC player offside to disallow the goal, but because they weren't aligned with the wall, it kept him onside. And what Nico Fernandez ended up doing was just put a curler to the near post that Nico never saw until it passed the wall and went right inside. Everyone looked pretty frustrated by that. This is when we thought the game was going to be a rout, but like you said earlier, Sarah, it's Yappy Hour somewhere. And at the death of the first half, 49th minute, Darren Yappy receives a beautiful assist from what looked like a number 10, Hafa Navahu, dribbles one defender, puts it back onto his right foot, and puts a no-doubter into the lower left of the goal. Going into the locker room at half, I really thought Rapids were going to come back and sway this, but not to be. Rapids fought back. Wells made offensive substitutes. We saw Dante Sealy, KDP, Josh Atencio, Miguel Navarro, and like we talked about in the 81st minute, the debut of Bilo Giap. Wells described these as very offensive-minded substitutes, and the Rapids were definitely chasing that equalizer and potentially a win. But in the 86th minute, if you ever played FIFA, career mode, Wonder Kid, Dallas Magno subbed on and put the nail in the coffin for the Rapids. So that was 1/4 of the Colorado Sports No Good Very Bad Day.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, so I find it seems like a few games in a row now we've seen a lot of subbing, especially for we've talked about how shallow our roster kind of is. We've seen a lot of subbing and a lot of subbing what feels early. So looking at subbing starting in the early 50th minute instead of after the 60, which we maybe had come to expect in previous years. Do you think this is a Matt Wells specialty or a specific strategy he's putting in place for these games?
I think this is a Matt Wells specialty. I think he's said this multiple times. He truly believes that the substitutions drastically change the game when they occur, and that he's not afraid to put someone in there if he thinks what he's seeing is a stale or lackluster performance at any given position. I think Rapids fans might be a little traumatized from late Chris Armas substitutes. We typically wouldn't see Chris make a substitution until around the 70th minute, and not every game would he use all 5 of his substitutes. If we harken back to last game against the Galaxy when they scored, Matt Wells had clearly seen something in his 11-man lineup around the 51st minute and started warming up 3 substitutions and was trying to get them on, but not before Galaxy could score that first goal in the 55th minute. And then he got the subs in at the 56th minute. So I think being proactive and being willing to mix it up is a Matt Wells special.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think it is a I think there has been this like previous concern, especially when we didn't see a lot of depth in some of our positions, that if you make those substitutions, then you're like taking some of the fight off of the field. And so it is interesting to see it used this way and used early.
I think to that point, Sarah, what we've seen in these initial 4 starting lineups is that Matt Wells is perfectly willing to put the players he's seen the most spark from in as starters versus maybe what the base views as starters. So those substitutes coming off the bench, like that 55th minute sub was Dante Seeley, a guy who has been in the starting XI for the first 3 games. And to that note, I would say, like Rob Holding, like Darren Yappy, when we saw those 2 players not make the starting lineup, the next game they balled out. So when we get to the SKC predictions, I think we need to put some money on our boy Dante.
I think that's a fair point. Another thing to note is folks paying attention will know that our boy Zach Steffen is still out. We have Nico Hansen, who truly has just been confirming what we already believed, which is that he is a high quality starting 11 worthy keeper.
I do want to point out some post-game news on Zach Steffen. Matt Wells thinks we should see Zach Steffen in training this week and could be back as early in goal as this weekend against SKC. Similar time frame with Connor Ronan. We could see him available for match selection this Saturday. It sounded like maybe Zach was a bit closer, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly. We've still got a few weeks to go on Reggie Cannon. But Sarah, I have some big news for you in, I think, a subject you're really going to like.
I'm so curious where this is going.
So, covering the R2 game on Sunday, I, for the first time, saw the 3rd goalkeeper kit color choice. Mind you, we've seen the yellow on Nico and the blue on Zach Steffen. I saw Zach Campagnolo come out in the orange. And I called it sherbet colored in the post game. Camp actually said when he first saw it, he thought it was creamsicle. So I think we go from Purple King to Creamsicle King the first time we see Zach Steffen in this. And we're definitely calling him Creamsicle Camp, Zach Campagnolo for when he's in the kit between the sticks. I think you're going to like this kit.
Yeah. Nothing will ever be the purple, but we'll take a good creamsicle. And
Done.
It really fits our new blue Curaçao. I can't say that word. Curaçao. Rapid Man. We've got creamsicle kit, blue Curaçao. We're ready for our beach party in February, thanks to the new season.
What's the like Beats Bears Battlestar Galactica? Our version's gonna be Curaçao Creamsicle Colorado Rapids. We're the Island Boys now.
Amazing.
Commerce City, where life's a beach.
Honestly, it might be beachside property at some point. Like, all we know is the earth is changing.
Wow, you think the tsunami's coming that far in?
Listen.
Or do you think like the shelf around Suncor and Rocky Flats just caves?
Oh no, the earth just melts into itself.
The island of Commerce City? This could happen.
And finally, it would still be harder to get to.
Yeah, but we could call the bridge to Commerce City Victory Crossing.
Amazing. And I'm sure Polis would love to fund it, since his last bridge got axed.
Man loves bridges.
Yeah, like the bridge he's making between being a Democrat and a Republican. And on that note, I want to highlight that first off, I would like to beg our corporate overlords to go easy on me. I'm sorry to have insulted one of your golden children.
Your NFTs are never going to sell at this rate.
What would my NFT be? Is it that like fuck ice fantasy graphic you created?
Yeah, I'll figure out how to turn that into an NFT.
Okay, sweet. Last week, we all had way more faith in our Rapids, so we saw 3-2, 2-1, and 3-1 as our predictions. No one got it right. As Matt pointed out, he did say that there wouldn't be any red cards and was correct. Other than that, we all had 2 correct guesses to some variety. Matt said no reds and a Morales goal. And we actually, Morales
didn't. It was
did not
Magno
score. He got an assist.
and Fernandez.
Okay.
Yeah.
we all had one correct thing. Matt said no Reds. I predicted Yappy, and Monk predicted Yappy as well. But really, I'm going to call that week a wash and no real win on the predictions front.
Or a really fun draw.
A really fun draw, which is an incredible transition to our Around the League conversation. Around the League is where we talk about great games that happened this past week or notable games that happened and things coming up this week that we want to keep an eye on. And I'll start with a really fun draw conversation, which is that last week we encouraged you all to maybe have 2 screens up during the Rapids game because Charlotte was playing Miami in Charlotte when what turned out to be a messy-less Miami 0-0 snooze fest. Miami, who had a midweek game, did not travel messy, and that score says all you need to know.
Charlotte has always had Miami's number. They're like the Dolphins to the Patriots, I feel like. But and I don't know why you love Inter Miami so much that you decided someone should have a second screen for this. I do have another PIDCAST service announcement, Sarah.
As long as you do not spread the reputation that I love Miami so much, please go ahead.
Do you want to show the visual listeners where on your body you have Benvenuto a Miami tattooed?
I save it for only Pids.
Okay. So PIDCAST, the podcast that saves soccer fans money, would like to do a PSA to say that the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountain Charlotte away kit from last year has popped up at Ross's in the area. I only found them in extra small, which I'm going to start doing like Ozempic and whatever to fit in that. But because the jersey is beautiful. And that means we're probably going to start to see one flags pop up there soon. So keep an eye on your local Ross for $19.99 one flag kits. And that has been a PSA from the podcast that saves soccer fans money. Can we get Ross to sponsor us? They feel politically incorrect. Like they probably wouldn't get mad at us for our takes.
No, probably not. And we probably plug them more than anyone else. So
yeah.
I also just think that, like, while you low-key just shaded me for being a Miami fan, loyal fans will clearly know that Matt is a Charlotte and Vancouver fan more than a Rapids fan some days.
Who? Yes. No lies detected.
Well, a few other fun pieces from around the league. We'll call it Sunday Fun Day with all of the goals happening this last Sunday. The Revs, the Revolution, bested Cincinnati 6-1. And then Vancouver just trounced Minnesota 6-0 with 13 goals in 2 games there. Wild. Matt pointed out that Cincinnati did have a red card, but that red card didn't even come till they were down 4-1. Just truly two wreckings all happening on the same bonus day of MLS.
This was one of my favorite graphics of the weekend. The MLS, like their social media account, put out a graphic that was like, Wild Sunday, 14 total goals scored across 3 matches, which makes it seem like these were all shootouts, not just 2 teams absolutely like just destroying their opponents. Like participation ribbons to Cincinnati and Seattle Sounders for scoring a goal each out of that 14. Like you get part of the group project.
Yeah. I tried to check like what percentage of the total goals for the week that was, and I didn't get it. It didn't quite work the way that I was thinking, but it just truly to have 14 goals in 3 games when we saw a lot of zeros, like the Miami Charlotte snooze fest.
This is when we need the Monk clip on like the MIDI keyboard, so we could just hit "fuck your stats" like just over and over again.
Insert Monk here saying "fuck your stats."
If I'm ambitious, I'll go back and clip it. That's probably not going to happen.
Well, I do. One last thing I want to highlight because I think it's relevant for our discussion of the game this week. Sporting Kansas City did beat Galaxy in Galaxy. And this is just an interesting point of reference because we play Sporting Kansas City this week. And of course, we beat Galaxy game before last. Galaxy has kind of been a litmus test for some other teams that we've looked at. NYCFC had drawn to Galaxy and yet beat us. So, really, my thought here is between Sporting Kansas City and Galaxy, who sucks more? And the reality is maybe it doesn't matter because those are two teams that we love to lose to, even when they're shit. So I don't really care who's the worst of the two because it just doesn't matter. We could still lose to them.
I mean, losing to NYCFC, fine. I get it. They're a good team. I don't think anyone is looking around the league saying NYCFC isn't a gem of the East right now. The loss sucks, but it's tolerable. But losing to SKC, we just can't do that this weekend, especially since we are on our rehabilitation tour of beating Galaxy after that end of season loss last season when they were the dregs of the league, in addition to our loss to SKC, who were also full of despair at the bottom of the table. So we've got to pull this one out.
Well, we'll get to more SKC in a second, but let's take a second to look around the league for this coming week. I'll let you give it a start. Do you have any games you're looking at?
Really know what to think about most of these teams anymore, but one game I'm really looking at is this Texas Derby between FC Dallas and Houston Dynamo. Those are two teams that have seemed to show up in every match, and I think have had some really dramatic late game wins or losses either way. So I think for the casual viewer, for people that just want to grab their popcorn and watch some soccer, that's the one I'm going to be zoned into.
I think that's true. I think I spend every day of the week trying to forget that Texas is a thing. But if you look at both of those teams have some really solid players and have kind of had matchups that haven't really given us a good sense yet of who they are. So I think that's a really great shout out.
Yeah, Peter and Musa had the first hat trick of the season for FC Dallas last week. And future Rapid, because I'm starting rumors that it's going to happen until I bootstrap paradox this. Jack McGlynn has been firing on all cylinders for the Dynamo.
That's a really, really good shout. And yeah, so far, this past weekend, with that hat trick, what you mentioned, Dallas drew San Diego, which is one of the top teams in the West. And frankly, would be the top team in the West if Vancouver wasn't just a giant monster of a team.
Giant monster of a team that has no way to make revenue, is for sale, and has the murkiest future outside of the Rapids of any team in the MLS. It's wild.
In a town that Matt would have moved there and changed his coverage to Vancouver in a heartbeat if it wasn't unaffordable.
Don't say it in the past tense, still will.
Yeah, if you could afford a week there.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So expensive. Well, on that note, this coming week, folks should definitely check out Vancouver playing San Jose. It should be a really fun watch. Vancouver, still undefeated, top of the West, but San Jose got their first loss just this past weekend to Seattle. Otherwise has been one of those teams to beat. So I think that could be a really fun showdown. Give us a sense of who San Jose is and whether Vancouver is actually as unstoppable as they seem.
Don't forget, because you invoked San Diego, they play fake Salt Lake, I think a day after you play your rugby match in Salt Lake City.
Excellent.
Are you going to hang around and go see that game?
I am unfortunately heading ooh. Wait, now that you mention it. Okay, Matt just playing to the
Sunday
little
afternoon special in Sandy.
But Matt is right. Black Ice Rugby is playing a D2 championship game against the Salt Lake City Slugs. So we can all hope that both Black Ice and San Diego do the Lord's work in burying Little Salt Lake in the sandy ground.
I saw the funniest video earlier this morning. Do you know what soaking is?
Well, I know.
So it wasn't of that, but it was a play on that. It was like how Mormons play guitar. And it was
no.
It was one person holding the guitar pick and one person moving the guitar for the strum. It's not dirty. It's not dirty.
Why haven't we done a Super Soaker themed Salt Lake tailgate?
I don't know. But it's just shade against the team, not shade against Mormons, probably not shade against Salt Lake City. We just really hate the team. And that's where that lies.
And a little bit the city.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I have for Around the League this week. Any last thoughts on things folks should watch?
Black Ice Rugby. I want to see a big dub. That's my game of the weekend.
Well, watch women's sports.
Everyone watches women's sports.
So I've heard.
Have you seen we brought this up, I think 2 weeks ago, but Summit announced 50,000 for their inaugural home opener at Mile High Stadium. And I think the Messi game is still half of that. Like, and I'm clarifying, this isn't shade on the Rapids. This is the fact that like Lionel Messi can't draw or can only draw half as much as a women's soccer team.
No, the shade on the Rapids is that you referred to their 30-year anniversary game as the Messi game.
Oh yeah. Dang.
But that's a really good point, right? Is that this Summit home opener has so much fire behind it, and women's sports generally are taking off. So if you get sick of watching the Rapids lose, Black Ice Rugby streams their games on our Instagram. So I'm not sure what position I'll be playing in, but you should be able to find me.
Monk and I are going to do like a live watch along commentary one time.
That'll be behind the paywall, I hope. All right. Well, let's move on. We have another game this weekend, and we've alluded to it heavily. Rapids are heading to Kansas City to play this coming weekend. Kansas City continues to have a struggle of a year. They're 1-1-2 with a -3 goal differential and sitting at 12 in the West. Rapids are number 7 with 2-2. I like that. We don't tie. We are very decisive in our outcomes. Go big or go home. But that, as I alluded to earlier, to me, these stats really don't matter because what matters is our head-to-head with SKC. We're 14-10-10, so we're really close divide across the board. But Sporting Kansas City has bested us in our last 3 meetings, including 2 really painful ones for 2 different reasons. So the first one, we were so excited that we were playing the dogshit Kansas City for what is our highest attended game of the year, not because the people come to watch the Rapids, but because on the 4th of July, the Rapids do a huge fireworks celebration. And this time, those fireworks were just drowning out our tears after losing to Kansas City. But then, again, we had our redemption opportunity in Kansas City. This one is particularly painful for me because I was there in person watching as Rapids blew a 2-1 lead and allowed 3 goals in over a period of 8 minutes. And honestly, maybe it's because I was there, but this really felt like the beginning of the end for Chris Armas. The team lost a lead that they shouldn't have lost in a big way. And that damn cauldron was chanting for 8 minutes straight, because the chant is a few minutes long each, which is, we want another one just like the other one. We want 2, and then 3, and then 4. It was awful, and it better not happen again this weekend. Matt, what trauma do you have associated with Sporting Kansas City?
I mean, I'm just going to say that the Rapids never lost 4th of July to Kansas City on Biden's watch. Like, Occam's razor here. Wait. Yeah. No, that's true. So we played them. Hold on. Let me get my math right. Yeah. We played them July 4th, 2024, and we beat them 2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump's
And
America, everybody.
That's the only other time we've played them on July 4th. So, I mean, correlation, causation, you be the judge, but I know where my vote's going. Sarah and I are never allowed to do the podcast alone. 2 very political people. No, this is a big game for the storyline. we're going to get to see Calvin Harris again. And I feel like DJ Calvin Harris is going to have a chip on his shoulder. We saw his replacement, de facto replacement, Dante Sealy, not start last game. We talked about this earlier in the episode that probably foreshadows a big Dante Sealy match coming into Kansas City, given the pattern of Darren Yappy and Rob Holding. So this could be a right-wing firework type of game where we see Calvin Harris kind of try to get a little gamesmanship up on the team that didn't want to bring him back in or didn't want to meet the valuation and caused him to go to Kansas City. And we could see Dante trying to show that was the right investment on the Pids part, is to bring in the TNT Dynamite.
For listeners struggling to keep up with the changing conversation, when Matt is using the term right wing in that context, he is referring to the soccer position.
Wait, should I call it like East Wing? What do you want?
But not West Wing. That's also confusing.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No. We will figure out something else. So I do think that's going to be a big storyline. I, for one, am a huge fan of Calvin Harris. So we'll see when we get to predictions, but I think he gets on the board against us. What thoughts do you have or storylines going at this matchup other than we need to avenge our abysmal performances from last year?
What hope I do take into this is that we, with the exception of that NYCFC game, which again, I think that losing that is fine. It's respectable. I'm not upset about that. You could chart out a really strong playoff bound Rapid season and still give them the L there, right? It is a different team, right? We have seen a lot of team changes and a coaching change since we were there half a year ago, right? So I think that is the one piece of hope I take in. That being said, while I love Nico Hansen, I still think he is not Zach Steffen, and I really do hope Zach makes it back for this weekend's game.
I think that's a fair shout. I think that's an important shout because we are facing Dejan Joveljic, who I'm sure the LA Galaxy still like bang the ceiling with their fists every time that he scores a goal for Kansas City. He's been so prolific since he left for a team that has really needed goals in the wake of those Ricky Puig ACL tears. So this will be a big test for the back line and a big test for whoever is in goal. I'm confident with Nico as I would be with Zach, but I think this is one of those squirrely strikers who always seems to be Johnny on the spot that could really be a thorn in our sides.
Yeah. One thing that I saw online, which I do not appreciate, is that if SKC beats us, they could, in theory, move above us on the table.
I mean, so a true 6-point game.
Yeah, don't love it. I'll take it with anyone else other than Kansas City. My other contribution to this conversation is not helpful. I'm looking up thirst traps of the Kansas City coach, Raphael Wiki. I'm sure Matt will put photos in the socials so that people can follow along at home.
Do you want me to Photoshop you guys together?
No, I'm not in middle school anymore. Oh, what a bombshell. All right. Well, should we do some score predictions?
Yeah, let's get to it. Start with Monks. He sent it in from with a raven from Pocopia or wherever he lives now. And he's predicting, as you might expect, a Rapids win, 3-1. His goal scorers are Hoffa, Yappy, and Pax10. And he does think Dejan Joveljic gets one in as the lone goal for Sporting KC. What about you, Sarah?
Listeners will know that this is a standard part of every episode, and I should know it's coming, but I still never have finally, I always go in with what I think my idea is going to be, and then through our conversation, I change my mind 20 times, so that I have to rethink it at the end. I'll go 2-1, and I will be elated to be right. I am really, really afraid of a draw or a loss here, but I don't think that there's other than a history of blowing games to this team, I don't know that there's actually the stats to back that a prediction of a loss here. I think you have to go Yappy. He has just been he's just not going to stop. I think he's found his rightful place, and I think some of the connections we're seeing between Navajo and Yappy are really cool. Love Monk's optimism in Paxton, but I'm just not seeing it. I don't. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. So I'll go with what probably steal your thunder and put one for Sealy here, and then similarly, Jovic for the away goal. What about you, Matt?
I think the game ends 3-2. I think it's going to be a wing fest for the Rapids, and we're going to get goals from Manyo, Sealy, and Yappy, who, as we all know, is clearly a winger now. I think the 2 goals on the SKC end are going to be Calvin Harris and Dejan Jovic.
Well, we would love to see it. Calvin Harris is a great guy, and we want him to do well as long as it ends in 3 points for the Rapids.
When he does his signature smile celebration, it's going to hit different.
Aw, it reminds me of Abubakar coming back and like his like heart thing. Or wait, was it Abubakar? No, it was Badgie. Who was it that gave the heart to the Rapids? I don't know.
Oh, I think it was Don Badgie. Yeah.
We love all of our alumni.
Yeah.
Badgie is my low-key favorite alumni of all time. But love them all.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's different when the player comes back at home. So I don't think you stunt on the home fans in your homecoming, but like we're in Calvin Harris's house now, so I think I want him to stunt if he scores. I want him to show out for his new fan base and give them the same type of energy he gave us.
If it happens, you'll hear it here on the Rapids PIDCAST. We'll, of course, come back to these predictions next week and see how they pan out. Anything else on the coming game this weekend?
No.
Any final thoughts generally?
Generally?
We have a final thoughts section. I'm giving an opportunity to fill it in.
Rapid Man is blue Curaçao. It's lore now. You can't unsee it. Drink it up, baby.
Amen. Well, Matt, where can they find you?
They can find me on Blue Sky or Curaçao Sky. I'm going to change the name of our Burgundy Sky feed to Curaçao Sky. At Matthew Wick. Yeah. What about you?
Awesome. Well, you can find me at the Fatoria on socials, mixing up really cheap, sweet beach cocktails, and of course listening to Don Chicharron, our band that plays our intro and outro music. Make sure to check them out. While Monk is off chasing leprechauns, you can also check him out at Monk of C38 and always rooting for the Rapids. Thanks, everyone, and up the fucking Pids.
Fucking Pids.
Tú tienes esa cosa especial, bella mariposa especial, ella con su rosa especial.